So now we go on to the interesting topic, like mortgages with Jon Lamkin, that, everyone's talking about what's going on with the mortgage, interest rate, and all that. And Jon Lamkin is from Guarantee Rate, and he is going to touch on that for us. Hi, John. How are you doing?
Doing great.
Awesome. I believe you're sharing your screen.
Correct. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, absolutely.
Perfect. All right, welcome. Thank you for having me again.
Definitely. Always a pleasure having you.
All right, so my name is Jon Lamkin. I'm with Guaranteed Rate. We're the third largest retail mortgage lender in the US. We've grown exponentially over the years. It's a 20-year company based in Chicago, and I run the New Jersey office. And we've seen some great success over the last couple of years. Rates definitely helped that. The pandemic took a lot of people out of New York City. And the last 2 years have been phenomenal from both the purchase and refinance standpoint. My background is 20 years in the mortgage space. I've been with Guaranteed Rate now, just finished my 9th year. I've been on the top 1% for the last, since 2010. And in the last 6 years for Guaranteed Rate, pretty much from Connecticut South down to Florida, I've been like the #1 originator. I've got a phenomenal team that helps me. And last year we actually helped about 650 families either buy, refinance, or do renovation projects to their home. So I'm going to show a real quick video. Just a little about Guaranteed Rate. Maybe you saw this at the Super Bowl last year.
How did a blind man conquer Mount Everest? How did a kid who loved NASCAR just know in his heart one day he'd win the Brickyard and Daytona 500? How did an underdog, always counted out, take down the biggest name in the UFC? How? They all believed. They believed in themselves, and they believed that their dreams, their goals in life were more than just imaginable. They were possible. For those who believe in their dream of a new home, Guaranteed Rate is a mortgage lender with all the right tools, advice, and financing to make that dream a reality. Home office, backyard, more space, better view. Whatever you're striving for, you can make it happen. You can conquer that mountain. You can. If you believe, you will.
Yeah, so I wanted to show, that video because it's really important. We're not like a typical lender. And what I mean by that is,
how did a blind man conquer
that? So I'm going to get into this interest rate chart in a second, but we honestly have over 50 different financial institutions that we're able to work with. So as a direct lender, we process, underwrite, close the loans in our name. But in a market where we're sitting in a rising rate environment, it's important to be on a multi-lender platform. Some of the banks do a great job, but in the reality, they have like one set of guidelines. And consumers out there, people get paid in various different ways, and people really need to have options when they're getting a mortgage. And that's what Guaranteed Rate has the ability to do. We have probably about 1,500 different products that we can offer our clients, and we try to educate and advise them on, what's the best program for their, short-term and long-term needs. So to give everybody just a quick update, because it is the, $1 million question, where are rates going? Unfortunately, rates are going up. I don't think they're going to go to 7-8%. But right now, last 2 years, we were sitting sub 3% range. Currently, the 30-year fixed after yesterday's phenomenal job report bumped up a little. And, now we're sitting about 3.5 to 3.625 on a conforming loan. So for every $100,000 you're looking to spend, the monthly payment only changes by about $30 a month. So if you're buying a $500,000 house, you're financing, say, $400,000, you're looking at your payment went up $120 a month. Not the end of the world. It's still a tax deduction. You'll be able to deduct more interest. The nice thing, especially for first-time home buyers, is they've increased the conforming loan limits to $970,000. So if you're a consumer and you want to buy, say, $1 million house, you can do that with a 5% down payment. So there's a lot of great programs out there. The jumbo market's actually a little bit lower in rate with guaranteed rate, because the way our platform is set up is because we have, multiple, banks that we can work with. We do utilize a number of community banks around the country, and they don't sell their mortgages directly as a retail operation. They use, organizations like ours to help, build their loan portfolio. So in a rising rate environment, these banks are huge because they do have, an appetite occasionally for certain loans. And it's been a great, option for me to use over the last, 20 years as being always at a multi-platform environment. Any questions yet, Simon?
No, I mean, I think interest rate is still pretty low compared to, when 2006 or, 2000, that was a 6%, ish at that point. And then, at one point there was 13% or 16% in interest rate, right? So comparatively, it's still really low. But in this environment, this, being multiple offers going on, what can a buyer do to make sure their loans or their pre-approval is solid when you present the offer?
That was a good segue to my next slide. So at guaranteed rate, we do something that is a little bit different than most lenders when we pre-approve our clients. What we do is I always like to speak to the client first because I just think it's important to figure out exactly what their goals are. At that point, we have a phenomenal online application that takes about 10 to 15 minutes to fill out. We send the client a quick checklist of what documents we need. Our technology is so sophisticated that occasionally a client won't even have to send us their W-2s and pay stubs because our systems are intertwined with all the major employment verification organizations. So a lot of times we can get people's income without them getting us a pay stub. In addition, we have the same type of tool for our asset verification as well. So what we do is we get this information, and I have a dedicated underwriter on my team. And what that person does is they review all the information, and we're actually underwriting the loan before the client has a house. And that's not normal because underwriting, takes time and you have to do your due diligence. But we've found out that if we do it on the front end, then we know our clients are totally rock solid. It gives the listing agent and the seller, the warm and fuzzy that, this is like a cash offer because all we're going to need is an appraisal and title insurance to get the loan, to the closing table. So it's been a phenomenal tool. We love when clients say, oh, I wouldn't have got the offer if I didn't have my red arrow commitment. So, we really encourage our clients to take advantage of this program. There's no fee for it. And it's really helped our clients not only, win in multiple bid situations, but even sometimes they win if they don't even have the highest bid because their offer is so much stronger because they've been through underwriting. We also have like a digital closing. This happened during COVID, 2 years ago. And so when our clients go to the closing table, they don't have to take a day off from work for like a 3-hour closing. They literally can sign the documents, in their kitchen on a computer, and then they go see their attorney, and they could be in and out of the attorney's office in 10 or 15 minutes. So it's a great tool that's really helped accomplish that. And one other thing that this red arrow commitment does is not only do they have the commitment at pre-approval, but now we can close the loan so much quicker because we've done all the heavy lifting. So, we average, and these are my real numbers from last year. For a purchase transaction, we can close them on average in 14 days. Now, granted, there are certain situations where there's a 35, a 45, a 60, 90-day close, but our loan is cleared to close, on average in 14 days. And refis is a little bit slower, maybe like 20, just because we take priority with our purchase transactions.
And, having this commitment to rent is great because it's almost as good as waiving your mortgage contingency. Now let's talk about, with the multiple offer situation going on right now, that that, you know, you want to give them the best term. One of the terms a lot of people is appraisal. How are you seeing appraisal right now? Homes, because, you know, right now it's selling all-time high. Is homes appraising at the value, or what are you seeing out there on the marketplace?
So we haven't had any really appraisal issues at all. I can only go off my personal statistics. You know, as a numbers guy, I like to keep track of things. So last year, out of 649 transactions, I had 3 appraisal issues. And one of them was a client that was buying a house in Montclair, and there was a price on the table, and she increased her bid by $200,000 when the deal was in attorney review, and was able to, you know, win the deal from another buyer. In a situation like that, the client was desperate. They were putting down a huge down payment, and it didn't make a difference if it underappraised slightly. So usually the appraisals get done within 5 to 7 days. One big difference with guaranteed rate versus some of like the traditional financial institutions is, as a lender, you have 2 ways to manage your appraisal process. You can either use a third-party management company, or you can manage the process internally. When you use a third-party management company, you're now at the risk of, you know, getting an appraiser that's not familiar with the area to do an appraisal. So, perfect example, you know, someone's buying a home in Millburn. You know, the house was on the market for $750. It went for $950. You know, an appraiser goes out there from the Jersey Shore, doesn't really know Millburn, New Jersey that well, and they underappraise the house. We do not do that. Okay, we only use local appraisers. So we have a rotation. It's county specific. So like Essex, Morris, and Union County, on my personal rotation, I have 6 appraisal companies. I've worked with these professionals for years. They know the market. Their number one goal is to make sure the client is not overpaying for the house. The number 2 goal is to like get additional comps. And because there's been so much sales activity, we haven't had any issues, you know, really getting the houses to appraise.
That's fantastic. That's great to hear. John, thank you so much for your time today. John, if someone wants to reach out to you, what is the best, you know, your contact information that you can provide?
Yeah. So just one more quick thing for anybody that does apply or has questions and would like to speak to me. There's my website. It's rate.com. And then you just have to hit / in my name, John, no H, Jon Lamkin. And anybody that was on today's expo, hopefully next year we can do it live. They're going to be able to waive all their lender fees with guaranteed rate.
Oh, thank you so much, John. That's wonderful news. And John, what is the best number for them to reach you?
My number is 973-219-9282. I do work on the weekends, especially now that I can't play golf because it's like 2 degrees outside. But we do, you know, work over the weekends, and I get plenty of calls Sunday night. Hey, I need a pre-approval, and myself and I have 3 other, you know, sales people that assist me with those and try to get these turned over in, you know, an hour or 2.
Excellent. Well, John, thank you so much for your time today. And anyone needs to have any questions about, you know, mortgage, commitments, appraisal, definitely get in touch with Jon Lamkin. He is one of the best out there in the industry.